Alright, in this video I want to talk about consistency in Rainbow Six Siege and how you can be more consistent in your ranked games, which will hopefully help you rank up because you'll be able to win more games consistently. And you'll be able to also top frag a lot more as well because you'll be playing at your best, or as best as you can play. I want to first start off by saying it's nearly impossible to have like 100% consistency. There's always going to be little variations, but in this video I'm going to give you 5 tricks that you can use to minimize this like variation and keep it as close to as like top consistency as you can. So the 5 things that I'm going to be talking about is: first, warming up; second is freebies; third is repeating; fourth is IRL consistency; and fifth is staying locked in. Alright, so first of all I want to talk about warming up. When you first hop on the PC or when you first hop on the console, you want to warm up before you play any games of ranked. This will like serve as a way to first focus your brain and get locked in and get like ready for the gaming mindset, as well as it'll warm up your arm obviously and warm up your aiming and make you feel comfortable in your sensitivity and make you feel comfortable in your like abilities. If you want a full warm up routine, I've got one on my channel. I'll leave it a link in the description, and you can open it in a new tab and then watch it after this. But if you don't have time to do all that, a quick way that I'll tell you to warm up is to play some map training and focus on your crosshair placement and slicing angles, which essentially is just holding your aim at the corner of an angle while you're turning around the corner, if that makes sense, and like holding it on that and checking all the angles as you go. And then after you've played maybe 1 or 2 of these map trainings, go into a deathmatch where you're focusing on your movement and then all of the previous stuff as well, like crosshair placement and slicing angles, but also focus on your movement because you're fighting against real people, so you have to like be able to move and be able to duck and dodge bullets. And then once you've played maybe a game of deathmatch and a couple of games of map training, you should be alright to just go into a ranked. If you want a full warm-up routine, like I said, I've got a link in the description you can look at, and that'll tell you what I usually do to warm up. Next I want to talk about freebies. The easiest way. So one of the hardest parts about being consistent is getting a lot of frags while still staying alive. Like, I can go monkey around, get 2 kills and then die. The chances of winning that round are still very, very losable, even though we've got that little bit of an advantage because I'm off the board now. To make it, obviously, to be more consistent and to win games consistently, you need to get as many 1-for-nothing trades as possible. By this I mean getting fights and getting out unscathed and not like taking any damage or not dying. The best way I like to do this with is by low risk freebies. An easy example of this is utilising operators like Valkyrie or Pulse and going for vertical C4s or vertical kills, or playing trapper operators like Capcan. These are kind of like operators that have utility that you can use to get frags without putting you at any risk. Another good example is Thorn, although Thorn's a bit iffy for getting kills. But the next thing I want to talk about, the third thing, is repeating strats and like going for reps. One of the biggest things that affects consistency is change. So if you can keep as many of the variables in your rounds the same as possible, you have the best chance of being consistent because you get more used to what's going on when you do this strat. When you do it, if you do X thing, the enemies will react with Y thing. And this, like, the more you do this kind of thing and more you realize what's happening, you'll know that. So if I do this, they're gonna do this, so I can do this again. And you can build off that and build off, like, it can just start with like a little idea for what you want to do, and then it can build off into like a really big strategy and a big like web of sort of ideas. So how this applies to your strats is, if you keep running the same strats for the same sites, you will learn the pros and the cons of each of this from your own experience. Because the other thing as well, people in different ranks will react differently to different setups. So I could say what happens when I've set this up in like champion games, but then if you're not in champion, or if you're like maybe in gold or in emerald, they might react differently. They might do something different that in my books might be a stupid play, but it might work because it's not something that you're like adapted for and ready for. So this is why you need to have your own experiences in your ranks to figure out what's like how people react to certain things. From this you can learn and adapt your different ideas to win the rounds that you usually wouldn't. Like, let's say you do this plan and somebody reacts with their plan to like counter you, and it works. The next time you do this strat, you can know about that counter and have an idea for it and have a solution for it, and then it won't work again. It's very hard to do this mid-round, like these mid-round adaptations, to know what things are going on if you're not like confident. Once you do get good at doing these post-game adaptations or post-round adaptations to your strategies, you'll be able to start adapting mid-round as well, which makes it even better, and you can like once you start adapting mid-round, it makes it really hard for you to lose rounds. Like if you can realize what an enemy's trying to do to counter you, and you can counter that again, it's add extra layers. It's like playing 4D chess when they're playing checkers. Do you know what I mean? So it makes it so much easier to be consistent, because you always have an idea of what's going on, because you're used to the strategy, you're used to the ins and outs of this. Now the fourth thing I want to talk about is IRL consistency. Just how like with in-game, you want to repeat similar stuff to gain consistency there. The same goes for IRL. You want to be working on your health, you want to be eating healthy, drinking enough water, and getting into a good routine. I can pretty much guarantee that if you get into a good life routine, like with being healthy, maybe exercising, drinking water, eating good food, it really, really, really will help your brain and help your thinking, and it'll help you improve at the game, and you'll be more consistent. But the same goes also for your setup, not just like your IRL like life. You want to have consistency with how you use your setup. For example, you don't want to be moving around your monitor, you don't want to be moving around your keyboard, your mouse all the time, because there's loads of little tiny variations that might put you off your game and put your aim off, or like put your mind off kind of thing, because you know something's not right. So just what I would suggest for this is to find something that feels comfortable for you. Like you don't have to look up tutorials on like how to place your keyboard right. Just find what feels good for you. Do you play with it at a slant? Do you play with it straight on? Whatever feels right for your hands and you, then just use that, because at the end of the day, you know what's best for you. I don't know what's the best like degrees to have your monitor at, like angle wise. It's all like personal to you. It's all on your like back to figure out what is the right idea for you. What is the right keyboard placement, mouse placement. But once you find that and you feel good with that, don't change. Now the final thing I want to talk about is staying locked and mindset. So staying locked comes a lot down to focus and mindset, and I'm going to go through some tips for both of these right now. To help with your focus, one thing that I can say quickly, that like an instant fix, not fix, but an instant thing that'll help with focusing, is chewing gum. Now, when I play, I read somewhere online that American soldiers used to chew gum to help with concentration and stress in war or something. And I kind of like took that and started trying to chew gum while I was playing myself, and I found it actually to be really helpful. So I'm just extending this information out to you. You can do with that what you will. If you want to chew gum while you're playing, you can. If you don't, then you don't need to. But this is just something that I found helps me focus and get in the right mind. I used to do a lot in school as well. I would chew gum while I was like taking a test or something, just to focus up. Another thing you can do to help with your concentration is to focus on your sleep and getting a good sleep routine. I don't mean get like 12 hours of sleep, but there's a right amount of sleep for you, and you need to get this consistently. I was watching an Andrew Huberman podcast, and he basically essentially says that you don't need like X amount of sleep, you just need consistency with your sleep. And if you get consistency with your sleep, it will eliminate like the sort of brain fog that you get during the day, and like feeling tiredness. You'll be able to get like more focus and more locked, and you don't have anything like clouding your brain, so you can just focus on the game and what's going on in front of you. Another thing with mindset, I would say, is to not focus on like what your teammates are doing. Only focus on what you can do and what you are doing. Don't focus on what the enemies are doing as well. The way that I like to see it is, you can't control what your teammates are doing. You can't control what your enemies are going to do. All you can do is control what you can do. So don't even cloud your brain with whatever their teammates are doing, or whatever the enemies are doing, or whatever's going on in the game, apart from stuff that you can have control over. Because at the end of the day, it's wasted resources. You can't tell the enemy to play a certain way. All you can do is play the best you can play. So at the end of the day, just focus on you and focus on your plans, and just think about how you can improve at your plans, and you'll get better and you'll improve. I'm telling you, like right now. So yeah, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.